we really wanted to evaluate how were we pointing people around us, and especially our children, to God. And through that, God invited us into something we never expected.
We are Karl and Melanie Loewen, and we are from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And our story is, it's an interesting one. It's one that's filled with some struggle, some searching, but a lot of redemption from God. And we are business owners. We run and operate a family business back in Winnipeg that is coming on to 36 years. But we were at a point where there had to be more to life than just functioning as business owners, functioning as the average Canadian family. We have 3 kids that all love the Lord, but we knew that there had to be something more. For me, one of the hardest decision or process points is, how will we do this financially? Because I've always been the one who's had to plan and strategize from a business standpoint of making sure that there's adequate finances to do all the things that we've been able to do, whether that's personally as a family or personally as a couple, or more importantly as a business. And God's like, no, I've got this. I remember right before we went to go on our DTS, I was driving to work and I was having a conversation with God, and I'm like, but God, you said that you were going to make a way for this, and I don't see it financially. I don't see how it will happen. And I just got this reassurance from him, with him saying, don't you trust me? And I was like, yeah, but don't you trust me? Do you not have the faith that I will provide? And it is not in your understanding, but it is in the fullness of my glory that it'll happen. And I was like, okay, I trust you. Can I say that it's been easy every day? No, it hasn't. But I continue to cling to my faith that says that as he says, he will make a way for it to happen.
Yeah, there was a shift in your heart that softened you from just being focused on work and focused on being successful and attaining the things that we're all told we're supposed to chase after. Building a business that can leave a legacy for our kids. It shifted from that being the focus to searching for what is the legacy that we actually want to leave. What do we want to point our kids towards?
I think the biggest change and the biggest shift was in 2018 when we went to Papua New Guinea with the ship space, just to see what the Liberty was doing in Papua New Guinea.
It was not what we thought it was going to be, and we were left wanting. And so we started searching for what that could be. And God definitely, when you seek, you find him. And he changed our world. He changed our perspective and left us chasing after him with all of our hearts. And our life took a very unexpected turn. Yeah, if you had asked me even 5 years ago if I ever wanted to be a missionary, it was the furthest thing from my thoughts. I was a luxury travel agent, and travel to me meant going to the 5-star resorts and seeing beautiful, polished things in the world around me. I loved travel, but considering going to places that were uncomfortable was not anything I ever wanted to experience.
You're either in or you're out. You can't be halfway in. And it was at that moment that we knew, God was giving us an invitation to be fully in. And that's when we said yes.
I think for me, being a mom and a grandma, my hardest part of my yes was knowing that the cost wasn't the monetary things. The cost was my kids. It was my time with them, and missing out on milestones and not being there for birthdays and for holidays and things like that. And just going to Papua New Guinea and accepting that invitation for 3 days to be on the ground, to just allow God to speak what his vision was for us. Weighed so heavily on me to say that yes, because I knew it wasn't just a yes to a 3-day trip. It was a yes to the call that he had for our future. But God just showed up so clearly on the beach when we reached the ship, when we saw the Liberty sitting out there on the sandbar, the Holy Spirit was so evident in the works that were being done there on that beach, in the clinics that were being run by the doctors and the nurses there, and the love that was being shown by the DTS students. It just completely opened my eyes to the love of Jesus in such a tangible way that I couldn't help but say yes. I couldn't help but say, God, whatever you want, whatever you ask, we are all in.
When I look at Jesus' command at the end of Matthew, it says, go out into all the world and make disciples. And when I think of it, it's like, I can't do that, because I know I can't, because he finishes off that verse with I will be with you. And it's through that, then that is the only way that we can do it, and that's the only way that we will be able to do it. And I look with great anticipation for what that will look like in the months and years to come.
I think just the challenge to take a look at what is the legacy that your life is leaving. That's the biggest thing that changed the trajectory for where we were going, was we really wanted to evaluate how were we pointing people around us, and especially our children, to God. And through that, God invited us into something we never expected, and for people to be brave and say yes, to take a step outside of their comfort zone, and to trust that God's going to show them something spectacular.